Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, of course, the Cathedral of Notre Dame has burnt almost to the ground in Paris, France today. It's an iconic cathedral that has left people weeping and crying in the streets. And the fact that Nostradamus had even been in that church and received revelations, he said, from God, predictions that have stunned the world. But my question is, what caused the fire? Now, immediately, the media has already ruled that there's no terrorist involvement at all, or no arsenic or arson, that it had to be an accident. Yet, how in the world can you conclude an investigation while the church is still burning? And why did it take 2 hours? Folks, it took 2 hours before fire trucks ever got to the church. Now, they're blaming it on there was a lot of people running toward the church when it was burning and the fire trucks couldn't get through. Guys, come on. We're not buying that. There was a man sitting across the street at a cafe. He saw the smoke coming from the steeple, and he said he looked at his watch. It was 6:52 p.m. He said he didn't even hear a siren till 7:07. And before he heard the first siren, and all that was the police still hadn't gotten there at 7:15. It took 2 hours. And here's another question. Why 4 days before the fire were the 16 copper statues on the top of the church removed by cranes? 4 days. These 16 statues were of the 12 apostles and 4 evangelists. And also, a lot of the artwork had been removed. Now, they said it's because all the renovation is the reason they were moving stuff. But it was in a nick of time. Now, there was some relics that were lost. And we don't know exactly who caused it or what caused it or what was this deliberately set. We do not know that. But the next question I have to ask you, don't you think it's kind of strange? Now, immediately, the mayor of Paris, the president of France, and everybody says, we're definitely going to rebuild it. We're going to use some of the existing structure that's left and we're going to rebuild it. But what are the odds of them moving those 16 statues 4 days by crane? Them statues had not been moved in over a century. 4 days before. 4 days before the church burns. And what are the odds that that Notre Dame would burn the week of Holy Week, just before Resurrection Sunday, or Easter Sunday that some people say using the pagan reference. Resurrection Sunday of Christ raising from the dead. This is unbelievable. You have to ask these questions. And oh, by the way, I also know this, that there was a lot of churches that have been destroyed in Paris. Catholic churches were being desecrated all over France. There's an article that came out in Newsweek on March 21st, less than a month ago. Catholic churches are being desecrated all across France, and officials don't know why. Don't you think you got to look into that with the Church of Notre Dame? Notre Dame? France has been a spat. This is the article. France has seen a spat of attacks against Catholic churches since the start of the year. Vandalism that has included arson and desecration. Vandals have smashed statues, knocked down tabernacles, scattered or destroyed Eucharist, torn down crosses, sparking fears of the rise of anti-Catholic sentiment in the country. Last Sunday, the historic church of Saint Sulpice in Paris, it was set on fire just after midday mass. It was reported, although no one was injured, police were still investigating the attack, which firefighters have confidently attributed to arson. And get this, but in the 17th century, 3 works of Romantic painter Eugene de la Croix has been used in the movie adaptation of the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Last month, St. Nicholas Catholic Church in north central France, a statue of the Virgin Mary was found smashed. The altar cross had been thrown on the ground. And also in February, St. Helene Cathedral In South Central France, the altar cloth was burned. Crosses and statues of saints were smashed. The attack prompted the mayor to say a statement, God will forgive, but not me. Okay, so guys, this article came out, and even in southern cities near the Spanish border, vandals looted the altar of a church of Notre Dame, Our Lady of the Children, and smeared a cross with human feces. So guys, this is an article that came out in March 21st of this year. Just March 21st. We're talking 25 days before the church of Notre Dame burns the ground. And you're immediately going to say, oh no, it wasn't arson, it wasn't terrorist attack. Oh no. Guys, let's get real here. You got to investigate. You don't say, oh, we already know. There's no. The church is still on fire right now. And you've already concluded. You already have the answer. Without even, no. Guys, do you see what's happening here? The fear. Do you feel it? You can feel when fear begins to grip a people. You can feel it when fear's taking over. When fear changes the atmosphere. When fear takes over, faith dies. And obviously, it looks as if there's a whole lot more to this story than what we know. We do not know what's going on here, but I can tell you, are you serious? I'm going to say it. Are you serious? Are you serious? You've already got the investigation over. It took you 2 hours. How come it took 2 hours? How come it took 2 hours to get a fire truck there? It's as if they knew this church was going to burn. They moved the statues 4 days ago. They removed all the artwork less than a week ago. It's Holy Week. It took 2 hours to get the fire trucks there. It's as if people knew it. Wow. Whoa. I tell you what, I got more on this subject. I can't say any more. Go to Patreon. I'll give you the rest of the story. That's the most I can do on this. You have to go to Patreon to get the rest of the story. Are you serious?